Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Just Momming. I'm your host, Ashli Wong, and with me today is my namesake, Ashli with a Li, Ashli O'Connor. She is a mommy, she's a career woman, and today she's going to be sharing with us her story of hope and faith. October is the beginning of Pregnancy and Infant Awareness Month, and Ashli is the face of 1 in 4. She has had multiple miscarriages and an infant loss. In other words, 25% of women would have had a miscarriage, a stillbirth, or an infant loss at some point in their lives. And I'm just so grateful that she's here with me to sit down and share this story because I think it's so important to shed light on this topic. So let us begin. Ashli, take us to the beginning of your journey when you first got pregnant, and at what point did you miscarry?
Okay, so I began my pregnancy journey in 2015. So August of 2015, I got pregnant. Went to the doctor, got a checkup. You get the first pregnancy test and you're excited, but you're not so sure. So you do 4 more just to make sure. And got a checkup, ultrasound, everything is great. I went on vacation, went on a slide at Atlantis. And we had so much fun. I noticed a little bit of bleeding, but I called my doctor and she said, oh, that's to be expected in early pregnancy, but everything is fine as long as it's not continuing. So I said, okay, everything's good. Came back to Jamaica. We did our normal test. Everything looks great. Then at 22 weeks, we went to find out the gender of the baby. So we're all excited. I wanted a boy because I don't know about the girl thing. But we sat down in an imaging center. I did the ultrasound and the doctor said, hey, everything looks great. And she's starting to measure and she asked, what do you want? And we said, a boy. And then she just stopped talking. And we're wondering, okay, what's happening here? So she stopped talking and then she gave us a paper and said, hey, go back to your gynae. So we're wondering, all right, I guess she can't see the sex yet. Maybe it's too early. And when we went back to my gynae, she was like, you know what? So this isn't going well. You can try again. You're young. You can do this again. But I'm going to induce you and the baby is going to come out. And we're sitting there like, what do you mean? I can feel the baby moving right now. He or she should be fine. What's happening? She's like, well, you lost the water. You lost the amniotic fluid.
Did they still hear the heartbeat at this point?
Still hearing the heartbeat.
Wow.
When we were at the ultrasound, the heartbeat was perfectly fine. Like I said, she said everything was fine. And then she stopped talking. So we're like, okay, how do I get back the water? Can I just drink some water? How we reach from you lost all the water to you're going to induce me. And I can feel the child moving.
Wow.
That don't make any sense. She said, no, the child has to produce the water and through their pee, through their urine, and clearly the kidney isn't working properly. And normally when this happens, the child will eventually die. We're like, all right, is there a possibility that in the next 2 weeks, the child's kidney will develop properly? You don't know this for sure. Can we get a second opinion? She said, yeah, sure, but I know what I know, and you need to prepare for this. There was no remorse there. There was no walking us through
no discussions,
nothing like that. So we were in tears. Well, I was in tears walking through this office.
I can imagine.
I went straight home and was bawling the entire night because I can feel the baby moving and my belly was growing, but not growing at the rate that it should. So I felt as if something was wrong from then. But I just figured I have a retro-inverted uterus. So my uterus grows to my back. So I'm thinking, all right, maybe I'm not getting that belly because it's going the other direction. And then 2 weeks after, we did another ultrasound. The child was still, heartbeat was great. Everything was growing, but still no fluid. So she said, no, okay, we're going to induce you. We're going to induce you at nightfall, and you're going
And
to
I
have to
always
push
thought
this baby out.
once you hear that heartbeat, then
Yeah,
everything is
great.
good. That's what you.
Everything is normal, and I wasn't expecting that. You know, my cycles are normal. I have a 28-day cycle, 5 days, so everything is normal for me. I'm not expecting to have this issue, and everything up until this point was great.
Yes. Yeah.
So when I actually did the ultrasound that morning, when they were going to induce me, the baby actually died. So I was happy for that because I didn't want to have to, that guilt of knowing that you're having a child and you're giving birth and the child is still alive.
Right. Yeah.
And at 25 weeks, that's 6 months, you know, you're almost there.
Right.
So I'm not expecting that
Yes.
at all.
Yeah.
So I went, they induced me. They didn't have all the medication. So I was there just contractions for the whole entire day. The staff, I guess I was having a baby that wasn't alive, so nobody was really paying attention.
No compassion, nothing.
No compassion. You go over this little pan, like the urine pan that they have in the hospitals, and came out in the sack and everything. It was a little boy.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, it was a crazy experience.
I can only imagine.
But like they said, I was young, so I'm thinking, all right, we can try again. But how do I get through this? How do I?
And was the doctor able to identify a reason why this happened?
No. So in Jamaica, they don't really do investigations like that. So I had the baby, and they let me see the boy in the sack and everything. Pull him out of the sack, showed it to me, and then they cremated him. So I just got up and left the hospital. I'm like, I'm leaving. I had a baby, but I'm leaving without
one. Yeah,
without knowing where he is. I can't bury him. There's no certificate to say, hey, you had a child. So
it's almost like there's no acknowledgement that
the
he
conflict
existed.
was there for me so much, and the sadness. So how do I move on from that? Luckily, I have really good family and friends who allowed me to grieve, who had a funeral. We went out to Palisados and we had a little funeral and stuff like that. So that helped me with closure.
Yes.
At that time. So it really helped.
Yeah. Thank God for that support. I mean, I always say this in general, like when you have a child, so that support of family and friends is
for sure
so important. So important. So okay, after this happened, what was your next step? Were you open to trying again?
I'm not doing this ever again. But yeah, we were open to trying again, but we wanted a little break.
You always wanted to have children.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. From when I was young, I knew I wanted to have a child.
Yeah.
And you know, you think of it as part of being a woman is to have a child and to have a healthy child, and you're not thinking that that's not a possibility. Nobody not teach infertility in school and that you know, once you have sex you're going to have a child. That's what
I meant to say that at the beginning too. Like I feel like every little girl has this dream. You're gonna get married, you're gonna have a child, you're gonna live happily ever after. You never ever think about what if I can't get pregnant or what if I can't keep the pregnancy. You don't think about that. Nobody
tells you about the challenge. There's no challenge. You have sex, you can get pregnant,
and that's it.
Yeah, that's it. So we waited a couple of months. We waited 6 months, and then we tried again. And again I reached 8 months.
8 months this
time? 8 weeks.
Okay,
actually. 8 weeks. And then I just noticed I started bleeding one day, and a big clot came out, and the doctor said, hey, okay, you had a complete abortion. So to me, using that word too is like, okay, abortion. That made it seem as if I wanted this to happen.
I thought that word was only reserved for
it's the medical term of when you have a miscarriage. It's a complete abortion.
Right.
Where they're not seeing the sac anymore or anything like that. So again, devastated.
So it was the same issue again that with the fluid?
No, there was at that time there's no fluid. There's just the sac that's developing. So at that time, again, no investigation. We're not sure why. Did you take your prenatals? Is your period okay? Everything.
So, and this second time around, it happened earlier on in the pregnancy.
Right, at 8 weeks, which you hear about miscarriages and that's the time that it normally happens.
Yeah, yeah. Which is why people usually wait till they're 3 months
before telling anybody.
Right, yeah.
But again, you're excited, so you start to tell your close family.
Yes, yes.
So of course, I told my close family as soon as I got a positive pregnancy test because they were on the journey with me before.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, I did that, and then to have the miscarriage again. But of course, it's still, you're young. You can do this. You have time.
Yeah.
You know, it will happen when it's time.
Yes.
Again, we went again.
Yes.
I think probably 6 or 7 months. Again, we went, and this time at 11 weeks. So we're almost at the 12 weeks, almost there. And yeah, again, this clot just came out, started bleeding, and that clot came out. And the pain that happens with that in itself
it's very painful.
It's very painful. And then you go to the bathroom and to know that this thing is dropping out of you into the toilet or into your underwear.
I can't imagine the emotion, the emotional toll.
Crazy. Yeah,
I cannot.
Yeah. It's numbing. You know, it gets real mind numbing when you see something like that happen, knowing that you're pregnant and you're supposed to be having a child and being happy about it. So that again took a toll. And I'm like, all right, this isn't happening. Let's just stop. No way I'm going through this again. Emotionally, I'm done.
At this point, you decided you're okay with not having kids then?
Not okay, but I can live with waiting. I can live with not having a child right now. Yeah, so we went again. It happened again.
Yes.
This time not intentionally, but it happened, and this is what, the 4th time. And the same thing happened. And we're like, okay, please give me a reason why this is happening. What can I take? What can I do? What am I not doing? Why is my body rejecting my child? You know? And then they said, there is nothing wrong with you, but it happens. And I think in the US, it's not until you have your 3rd loss that they start to do investigations. But here in Jamaica, there's no mindset as to when do you start investigating. How do you investigate? We do have some fertility specialists here.
Right.
But of course, it's not known that you should go to a fertility specialist. When do you go to a fertility specialist? Is it after 1, after 2, after 3?
Yes.
So we went at the 5th try. I approached a fertility specialist, and luckily I'm in the medical field, so I was able to find one. And she said, come, you know, went through the history, and she's like, okay, there is a recurrent pregnancy loss panel that you can do that tests for any chromosomal issues, any autoimmune issues that you may have. And we said, okay, let's start doing those. But in that time, she said, let's still try and let me see what happens when we actually try. So we went ahead and we tried again, and the same thing happened. But it happened when she was off the island.
When the doctor was off the island.
When the doctor was off the island. So there was no testing that could be done during that time.
Oh my goodness.
Everything just was wasted, basically.
Yeah.
And I didn't like how it was handled. So I went on to try another fertility specialist, which her name is Dr. Michelle Bailey, and she's at Gynae 360.
Yes.
And when I went in, I bawled. I'm like, all right, this is my last try.
Yes.
And you need to give it to me straight. Like, what can I do?
Yes.
What if it doesn't happen? What can we do? She said, hey, you can do in vitro, but in vitro is really for people that can't get pregnant.
And that's not your issue.
That's not my issue. I can get pregnant. I'm fertile Myrtle over here. So I have no issues with that.
Right.
And she said, okay, let's go ahead and do the panel. And we went and did the testing. It's very expensive. But everything came back negative. Everything came back normal.
Right. So what's the problem?
What's the problem? There's no problem. And she said, all right, let's try. Like, boy, Dr. Bailey, if we're trying this don't happen, you know, you're taking another big chunk out of me. And she said, no, man, let's try. And I'll do my best to
Yes.
walk you through this. I'll
Yes.
hold your hand.
Yes.
I'll do everything in
Yes.
my power possible to get you through this. And so we tried. And December of 2018, I got pregnant. And right away, she started me on baby aspirin and said, hey, we don't know if it's a blood issue. So let's take some baby aspirin, thinning out the blood
Right.
to make sure that the baby can stick in your uterus, all those things. So I'm like, all right.
And previously, the doctors who you went to
never
before
told me anything about no baby aspirin.
Okay.
So I said, all right, we're taking the baby aspirin. Then she said, hey, let's take some like a steroid to suppress your own immune system so that the baby can thrive. And if you have any inflammation, it will take care of that too. So I was like, okay, we'll do that as well. And then she said, okay, let's do some injections.
Right.
The daily injections are not easy.
And then can you do it yourself or somebody has to do it for
I
you?
can do it myself, but it's better if, again, your support system comes in and learns how to give you the injections. So I was taking, I think, 40 milligrams of Qtinox, which is like a blood thinner, 2 times a day. And that in itself was horrendous on my body. After a while, my arms got so sore, I had to be putting it in my legs just to get it done. But baby was thriving.
Yes.
Baby was doing very well, and we were doing multiple ultrasounds, and even that you hear, you know, you should only be doing 1, 2, 3
right. I've heard
ultrasounds,
that. Yeah.
but we were doing it probably 2, 3 times a month.
Right, just to make sure everything was okay.
And then she was sending me to another specialist to make sure that the baby was developing properly. So she did everything she could, everything. And if we backtrack to, I think, a month before, she took me into the fertility unit at UE to do a histo something that scratches your uterus that allows the baby to kind of stick properly in there. And I think that helped as well. So yeah, I'm here now with baby Leah.
Yay! You had
made
your rainbow
through.
baby.
Yeah, definitely.
And just to clarify, the term rainbow baby is for a couple who has had losses or a miscarriage, and then they finally carry the baby to term and have a baby, right? So
rainbow.
What did that feel like to finally hold your rainbow baby in your
arms? I felt like I could breathe again. I felt like finally I'm a woman, even though it shouldn't define you as a woman,
but society.
Finally, you know, I have her in my arms, and throughout the pregnancy, I was trying my best not to bond with her, because if something happens, at least my emotions are guarded. At least I can make it through. But when she was actually in my arms, I was able to bond with her. It took a little time, to be honest, but through breastfeeding and all those things, I was able to bond with her.
I just wanted to say as well that, I mean, in hearing your story, it makes such a difference to the doctor who's carrier under. I mean, thank God you found this doctor
who takes the time to see you through and to give you direction, and do everything that they can to see you through.
All right, so to wrap it up, Ashli, what advice would you give to other women who have experienced a miscarriage or multiple miscarriages? And also, what are some ways that persons can support these women? Because, you know, sometimes it's like, you know, it might happen to your friend or your family member, you don't know what to say. You don't know how you can support them. So
especially on Mother's Day, because you know you have had a child, you're a mommy, but you don't have the child physically. It plays on the mind. So for me, Mother's Day was a big challenge. I used to just stay in bed and close the drapes and just watch TV the entire day, turn off my phone, don't call me on Mother's Day. But having a support system that's there for you, that says, hey, we're here if you need us. Not in your face, but saying, hey, if you need us, we're there, to just encourage you and tell you, hey, you know, we're here for you. Not the, oh, you're young, why is it bothering you? You can have children, don't worry about it. But being sensitive and coming to you with love and compassion and encouraging words is more of how I would approach it.
Yeah.
And, you know, for the mother, keep trying.
Yes.
Yeah, I know it's hard, especially for me. It was really hard to keep trying, knowing that you have a 50% chance of losing this child, or even greater percentage of losing this child. And it takes a piece of you, it takes a toll on your relationship as well.
I can't only imagine.
Especially for the man, you know, people started telling him, hey, this girl can't have no baby for you, you know.
Oh my God.
So
wow.
it starts to play on your relationship, and it becomes this big elephant in the room every time a couple comes over that has a child, and you're wondering, hey, is that ever going to be me?
Yeah. Yes.
So,
yes.
you know, be gentle with yourself.
Yes. Give yourself grace.
Right.
Yeah.
Give yourself time to grieve too.
Yes.
It's okay to grieve. It's okay to cry. It's okay to not want to do anything. But at times you have to work hard to pick yourself up.
Yeah. Yes. I can imagine.
Yeah.
Ashli, thank you so much again.
No
I'm just so grateful that
thank you for this platform for us as mothers to express ourselves.
Yes.
And also it helped me to listen to other mothers on YouTube, what they were going through and how they have been through the experience. That it really helped.
I'm sure you have given others who are watching this and who have experienced this hope, you know, to keep trying, and you may just very well get your rainbow baby.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
So thank you so much again.
No
I can't say
problem.
thanks enough for being here and sitting and just having this discussion with me.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for tuning in, and I hope to see you again soon for the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.